Here we are on BGSUFalcons.com, sitting down with this year's baseball head coach of your Bowling Green State University Falcons, Danny Schmitz. And Danny, we're already midway through the baseball season here in the 2010 campaign. We're seeing that there is a lot of explosive offense coming back to this year's lineup, despite Ryan Shea not coming back after last year's stellar performance in 2009. Can you talk about how comfortable you are seeing a lot of that offense return for the 2010 season?
Well, Ryan, we feel that's going to be one of our strengths this year in 2010 is our offense. And you are correct, losing Ryan Shea along with Brian Hangbers last year are probably the two main guys that are gone from this year's team. And Ryan, of course, being a two-time All-Conference and All-Mid-East regional shortstop, is a big hole to fill. But John Birdie right now is a sophomore that played left field for us because, Ryan was our shortstop, but John's off to a great start. I think he's hitting .488. We need to do a little bit better job making routine plays as a defense, but right now we're pleased that the bats are starting to come around a little bit.
Well, last year in 2009, you had a lot of things to be proud of. You won your second consecutive Mid-American Conference regular season title. You were housing the 2009 MAC Pitcher of the Year. You yourself earned your 500th win in your career, as well as was named to the MAC Coach of the Year for the third time in your career. So looking back on last year, what are you most proud of, and what was most memorable for you?
Well, I don't know if there's any one thing, but, I guess winning back-to-back championships for the first time in school history and the way that we had to do it, because we were really excited after the 08 season because we had all three starting pitchers returning along with a great nucleus, and unfortunately we didn't have any of the starters back at all. So to be perfectly honest with you, I just felt if we made the conference tournament last year, that would have been a good year for our baseball team. But the guys really met the challenge. The guys really stepped up, and Brendan Smith was one of those guys because we were looking for a number one starter, and he not only was that, but more, and as you said, the pitcher of the year. So there's a lot of great things. The 500 wins, that's all the players and the assistant coaches. Give them the credits for that. And the other thing I was really proud of, we had three former Falcons that all made it to the big league. So Burke Badenhop was up with the Marlins. Andy Tracy made it up in the end of the year with the Phillies, and of course Nolan Reinhold got called up mid-May, and was actually receiving votes for Rookie of the Year last year. So it was a good year for Falcon baseball.
And it's going to be a good year for Falcon baseball this year. As many predict, you were the favorites in the preseason polls, and I think a lot of that also has to do with the freshman class that you bring in for this 2010 season. Already 11 games in, can you talk about what you've seen out of your freshmen and maybe what they will be contributing this year?
Right. Well, first thing about preseason polls, that's exactly it. I don't put a whole lot of stock in there, and like we discussed with the boys on the spring trip, this preseason polls mean absolutely nothing. It's a poll at the end of the year. So, but you're right. I think we have a very good freshman class coming in. I guess a couple of the guys that are really standing out right now, number one, our number two pitcher right now is Mike Frank, a freshman from Anthony Wayne High School. And he's actually replacing Matt Malowitz, who was our number two pitcher last year. Matt's out this year with an injury, so he will not be pitching for us at all. Matt Pizzuto, middle infielder, shortstop, second baseman. I think he's second on the team hitting right now. I think he's hitting right about the .430 clip and really doing a nice job that way. Had a great game at shortstop against Butler down on our spring trip. So that was good to see. But the other guys that will contribute are going to be Patrick O'Brien, who got a start down there. We also feel a couple other pitchers. Cody Apthorpe will be a good one, and then I'm missing somebody. So, but anyways, it's a good group of young men.
Well, there's certainly a lot of freshmen to keep your eye on out there in Falcon Nation, and be sure to catch all the statistics and the game-by-game updates on BGSUFalcons.com. Lastly, Coach, you mentioned that the preseason polls, you can take them for what you will, but you are at the top of the favorites amongst the coaches' eyes. Are there any other teams out there that, maybe everybody out there shouldn't sleep on so well?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is my 20th year here in the conference as far as a head coach goes, and all I know is that you need to bring your A game each and every weekend, and there are some outstanding teams. It looks like Akron's off to a pretty darn good start, but of course, you got your favorites like always. You got Kent State, Miami, Ohio U is going to be an outstanding team this year in our division. In the other division, of course, you have Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Ball State. Toledo was vastly improved last year. So there's just a lot of quality teams, and like I said, you better bring your A game, or if not, it's going to be handed to you.
And the Falcons will be bringing their A game this weekend as they travel down to Richmond, Kentucky, going and playing the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. And then after that, bringing it back home for the Central Michigan Chippewas, and then their first home season series against the Northern Illinois Huskies. So thank you, Coach, for joining us on 5 Minutes With on BGSUFalcons.com.
Well, thanks, Ryan. And we want to invite everybody out to come see our ballpark. We got new dugouts that are going up, and of course the batter's eye, and it should be a lot of fun this year.
Looking to be a great 2010 campaign. Thank you so much, Coach, and everybody else, roll along.
Okay.